Hey, welcome back to another vlog in the badly lit environment of my room. So it took me a long time to come up with what I'm gonna do for this video because I want to do my New Year's theme, and it was really hard this year to figure out what that theme should be. What do I want to commit to prioritizing in my life for the entire year? What's going to serve me the best? So at first I was thinking direction, and direction for me was just making sure that all of the many things, and that's an important part of where we're going in this video. There are so many things that are priorities for me this year, and I'll list those before we go on. I've got my writing career that I'm going full speed ahead on right now. I've got my day job. I've got my financial situation. I'm planning to go back to school. I've got the podcast I do with Matt, Autodidactica. I've got my YouTube hobby. That's part of my author platform. All of these things, and I've probably left something out, like my relationships, my social life. Those are all priorities for me, and direction was my idea of making sure that in every one of those endeavors this year, I had a roadmap. I knew where I was going. I wasn't just doing it, I'm not just going to work every day. I have a roadmap for, if I'm still there in 5 years, where do I want to be and what am I doing this year to get there? Same with my finances, same with writing. Everything that I listed, I would have applied that sort of planning to, given it direction, where I am headed towards a goal with everything. But there's so many things, and it's just direction in itself is very broad, so I'm really still not focusing on one thing if I say direction is the theme for the year. And then I was very close to making the theme for this year all about my finances, and because that's important. Everything I'm doing requires money. So I have to have a plan for, budgeting, which I'm good at when I have money, for saving and spending and all of that. It needed direction. But again, I would be applying finances to all of the other areas and not really focusing on one, because it's equally important to everything else, but so is direction. And I think this week I've been, not just this week, I guess, I was batting 100 for a while there until my back got injured, and I think that knocked me off track, and it was hard to do things, and I'm pretty much to where I can do things now. I can do everything, but I guess the last couple of weeks I've been especially struggling with the reality of I've been unable to do things for months, and now I can do things, and everything is a priority. Everything is equally important to me that I just listed. And I forgot to mention physical fitness. I haven't been able to work out for 2 months, over 2 months now, almost 3 months. And physical fitness is important to me. That could easily be a theme one year. It's all of these things. It's like I have ADHD paralysis, and for me, what that is you have 100 things to do, and they're all important, and you can't pick one. Because I say, all right, I'm going to do my writing now, and I'm thinking, but the other 99 things, if I do my writing right now, I'm not doing the other 99 things. So I should be doing those 99 things, not writing. And I pick any other thing in that 100 things, and I feel the same way about the 99 I'm neglecting. And what happens is then I don't do the thing that I chose to focus on because I feel too much guilt, too much like I am supposed to be focusing on those other 90. I'm supposed to be focusing on all 100 things at all times, and that's not rational thinking, but it's where I get and I freeze up. And so I was thinking about when a time in my life when I was able to pretty much do all of the things in balance. It was balanced. I was centered during the 8 years that I was doing youth ministry. I was in a zen kind of place. Yes, there was stress in my life. Yes, there was adversity that had to be overcome. But it wasn't crippling. It was just there. It's just part of being a human. And I was able to handle all of it because all of my goals and priorities were balanced. I was passionate about everything I was doing, and I guess life was just easier for me. And I think what is missing now that I had in those years that helped me to be balanced and centered and content is spiritual balance. I feel like over the past several years, I've been like a ping pong ball. I've been just reacting to things when they happen to me. I'm not out in front of anything. I'm just in survival mode, which I think I've mentioned several times in my vlogs. So I've chosen spiritual balance as the theme for 2024. And so what that is to me is spirituality is, yes, I can get a little bit freaky. I can, it's a bit mystical for me. But more than that, I think it's, it's kind of all one thing. But I think the way that I would explain my idea of spirituality to someone else is to say that it's focusing on where I am, when I am, who I'm with, what I'm doing, and how all of these things are unified. There's a unity to everything I do, every person I meet, every experience that I have, every opportunity that's presented to me. During those years when I had that, it was mystical to me. I had I used to lucid dream frequently in those years. If I was having a hard time making a decision, a moral choice, or um, the best way to help the people I was working with, the youth and the families, if I came up to a brick wall and didn't know which way to turn, when I was in that state of just, the climate of my life was spiritually balanced, I would have crazy dreams that would show me something. Like it was interesting, like anytime I was facing a spiritual crisis or some sort of not knowing what to do as far as my youth ministry program was concerned, I would always have a dream about Walt Markham, my youth minister, and he would always give me some advice or the weirdest things. Now bear with me, I know not everyone is, I'm not asking you to believe me, but I don't need that. When I tell you a story it's anecdotal, I can't prove it. I can't prove any of the weird things that I've seen or experienced. So take it as you will. This is something I experienced. Whether my interpretation of it is correct is not important to you. I'm just telling you my experience. But I would have dreams where I was given guidance, and it would pay off when I woke up. The weird things are when Walt in the dream, and Walt is still alive and well. This is not like a spiritual visitation. That's just I guess Walt is the image my mind associated with that kind of guidance. And he would give me Bible verses. Would he read them to me? No. He would say, just keep this in mind, and he'd say a book and a verse, and I wouldn't know these things, but I would always remember it when I woke up and immediately look it up, and it would be not just vaguely, not like fortune cookie or horoscope, this could apply to anything. It would always be very specifically speaking to what I was going through. And I had weird things like that. Or there was one time I was just the youth ministry thing, there were people working against me. There's always politics there. In any job there, you always have people who don't value what you're doing, and there was a time there when I was butting heads with people all the time in defense of the youth program, and the youth themselves and how they were being treated, and myself, and people trying to cross my stated boundaries, and I was having to constantly defend them, and I was getting so tired of it. And I had a breakdown in my office. I just was losing it, and I was clicking on a YouTube video or something, and how sometimes you're about to click something and then the screen just decides, hey, I'm gonna just completely move everything around while you're clicking, and then you click something you had no intention of clicking, and it happened to be a song, the lyrics of which spoke directly to me, and what I was going through, and gave me the strength to push through. And synchronicities, I think that's what Carl Jung called things like that. And I'm a big fan of Jung. I love studying that guy and his philosophies, and because it's very similar to the way I see the world. I recognize the things he's talking about. And so synchronicities like that were constant in my life, where I just had to stop and listen, and the universe would answer my questions. The universe would show me the path that I wasn't seeing if I stopped trying to control things long enough. And the other thing I would have, that would be like stuff with the youth program, but when it came to like the world moving forward and such, like publishing issues, it wouldn't be Walt who showed up in my dreams. It would always be Benjamin Franklin. And he would always basically be saying, you know what, this is the way the world's going. Get over it. No, that's basically it. Like ebooks. Like, I so loved, back in the old days before Kindles and Nooks and all of that, I had PDF ebooks. PDFs are what you would buy on Amazon. And for me, the design and layout was part of my artistic expression. The packaging was something I really took pride in putting together. And I thought that I was creating these beautiful PDF ebooks. And I was frustrated that the industry was moving in an ugly direction. Like, Kindles were practical, but they weren't pretty. You know, I wasn't able to lay out the pages. I wasn't able to do what I had been doing up to that point. But I had one of those Benjamin Franklin dreams. And then, I woke up inspired to just embrace the way the world is going. And I did. Converted all my stuff to Kindle ebooks. It was, and it paid off. So I think when I had that spiritual balance, that discipline of stopping and breathing and listening and not trying to force solutions and not feeling desperate or frightened. Fear is one thing, but desperation is another. Desperation blinds you. And I guess I've been sort of blinded by desperation over the last several years, and that's why I turned into kind of a ping pong ball, just reacting to things, getting hit back and forth. And so, looking at all the things I want to do, focus on my physical fitness, my writing, my podcasting, my YouTube videos, my finances, my day job, my education, various things I'm not even mentioning, like my relationships, my everything, to get to a place where I can manage all of those things and happily, without shutting down from ADHD paralysis. I need to get back into those spiritual disciplines of valuing where I am, even if it's a stressful place to be. Like, what are the silver linings on these clouds? Just sit back and listen. Just sit back and say, I am in crisis. I don't know what to do. And let go. And see what doors open. And then have the courage to walk through them. That's what I want to get back to doing, and better than I used to, even. Because I'm going to make that the focus of my year. Spiritual balance. Not trying to conquer the world, but more just embracing the world. And my place in it. And trusting that the doors will open the paths will be made clear, and I'm going to move forward and follow my bliss to where I am supposed to be. And I think a good place to start is with the recognition that where you are may not be where you are going, but it is where you are supposed to be. You are not in the wrong place. If you feel like you're in the wrong place, it's because you're focused on the future or the past. Places you are not. The past is definitely where you came from, and it's important and valuable. The future, that's where you're heading. That's where you want to be. And I think the other thing is, like, where you are is where you are supposed to be, and where you want to be, genuinely want to be, that is also where you're supposed to be. And I think if you're spiritually balanced, those 2 points in time and space will line up. Because where you are is where you are supposed to be, and where you want to be is where you are supposed to be. And now and then, it's kind of like that's the unity thing. It's all one. Where I am now is a part of where I will be in the future. It's a part of how I get there. And I'm going to try to hold on to that mindset this year, because I think you start feeling desperate when you start feeling trapped in a point in time and space. Like, I don't want to be in this place. I don't want to be in this time. How do I get out of it? Because I want to be there. And you start freaking out and just focusing on where you are in a negative way, where you focus on the feeling of being trapped. And if being trapped is your focus, then stepping out of that trap, you're not going to see all the open doors. You're going to see the trap, not the exit. But if you just lay back and say, I am in a cage. I am supposed to be in this cage. I don't want to be in this cage. Like, I want to be out of this cage. But don't focus on getting out of the cage. Focus on where you want to be, and just when you recognize that being in the cage is a part of how you get to where you want to be, you're going to find that, oh, hey, look at that. Someone left the door unlocked to this cage. Creak. Get out. Move on. And I find that things actually do work that way. It's, and I feel like it's interesting to me. And again, I'm not telling you what to think. I'm not teaching beliefs, I'm just saying, here's an idea. Here's something that, it wouldn't hurt to try things this way if you so choose, I'm just telling you what I'm doing and why and how I'm looking at things. And for me, when I'm spiritually balanced, that is how I perceive the world to work around me. And I think it's interesting, that's what I was going to say, is just the idea, like what we're finding in quantum physics, that's just so interesting. Like how certain subatomic particles and so, like, I'm not using the correct terminology because I didn't plan this video, but there are things that don't, it's like they make decisions based on being observed. Like, things are not, it's like they could be one thing or another thing, and they're both, kind of like Schrodinger's cat, where they're in a state of being two things until they are observed, and then they become one thing. It suggests that consciousness plays a large role in the way that the physical universe exists. And to me, I think being spiritually balanced is flowing with it, just going with the flow of reality and not fighting against it, and just allowing yourself to exist in two states at once. Like you're in a cage, you're also out of that cage in the future. Acknowledge that these two states are unified, and you'll get out of the cage faster and easier. Easier said than done. This isn't magic. This isn't... but in a way it is, and it's not easy to master. I clearly have lost my hold on this technique long since. And like I said, there are still hardships, there is still adversity. It's just kind of having that all is one, all is right mindset is helpful in getting through it. It's helpful in managing huge loads of have-tos, or want-tos. Like, if you have a whole lot of goals, and everything takes a whole lot of work, and everything is a priority, it's helpful to just think about where you are, and to be there, to just be, and gently move forward towards your goals in harmony with the world around you, in harmony with the adversity. So we'll see how well I live up to these lofty ideals as the year progresses, but I am going to be trying to apply this philosophy to everything I do this year. So it took me a few weeks to get there this time, but that is my New Year theme for 2024, spiritual balance. So I'm going to call it a vlog. I've got a lot to do today. Matt and Chase were sick all week, and Matt's still sick. So I've been trying to avoid, because they appear to have two different things from each other and from what I had, and there's a lot going around out there, so I'm trying to stay well. But I've got a lot to do today. I've got some publishing stuff to do, I've got laundry to do, and so this is where I'm supposed to be. This is good, and I'm going to get through all of it. I'm going to keep healing. I'm going to keep moving forward in every direction that I've laid out, and we'll see how it all goes. But for now, I hope your new year is going well, and if you like this video series, my vlogs, if you like watching my story unfold, click like, click subscribe, helps me in the algorithm, makes me feel famous and loved. I'm up to 27 subscribers now, which is my all-time high. I'm pretty excited about that. So welcome, new people. But right, and I'm still working on building a new website. The old website is still there, and I just can't make links. But if you want to check out my writing, the podcast I do with Matt, all the old videos I've put up, you can go to my author website, glensladeclarkjr.com, and links to all my stuff is there. If you want to stalk me thoroughly, go ahead. Just don't come into my house. That's that's all I ask. So that's it for now, and I'll talk to y'all later.